Enron's revenue looked incredible. $101 billion in the year 2000. The stock was a Wall Street darling. But the lie that destroyed it wasn't in the big numbers, it was hidden in the footnotes. And almost nobody read them. Here's the truth most investors never learn. The income statement tells you the story management wants you to hear. The footnotes tell you the story they're legally required to admit. Learn to read them, and you'll see what the crowd can't. In 2001, Enron's balance sheet looked manageable. But buried in the footnotes were the special purpose entities, shell companies with names like LJM and Raptor. They held billions in debt that never touched the main balance sheet. By December 2001, Enron filed for bankruptcy. The stock went from $90 to pennies in under a year. Investors who only read the headline numbers never saw it coming. The warning was there the whole time. It just lived in the part of the report nobody clicks to. And this wasn't a one-time trick. It's a pattern that repeats every cycle. Here's what nobody tells you. Companies rarely lie in footnotes, that's illegal. Instead, they use language designed to be technically true and practically invisible. Watch for words like substantially, generally, and from time to time. Watch for a number that suddenly appears with no explanation. And watch when a footnote gets longer year over year, growing complexity often hides growing risk. Think about the last annual report you skimmed. Did you read past page 5? Most investors don't. So here's the question I want you to answer in the comments. Do you actually read footnotes, yes or no? Be honest. Now here's the part most investors get completely backwards. They think footnotes are boring legal fine print. They're actually where the biggest money moves. In 2008, Lehman Brothers used an accounting trick called Repo 105. At the end of each quarter, they moved about $50 billion of debt off their balance sheet, then quietly moved it back days later. It was disclosed. Sort of. In dense, technical footnote language that only an examiner's report 2 years later fully untangled. By then, Lehman was gone. September 15, 2008. Remember what I said at the start? The truth hides in the footnotes. This is exactly what I meant. 3 places to always check: the debt notes, the revenue recognition note, and stock-based compensation. That last one quietly steals from shareholders while never hitting the headline profit. Here's the practical part: how to do this yourself without an accounting degree. First, jump straight to the notes and search for the word debt. Read every line. Second, find revenue recognition and ask, does this match how the business actually makes money? Third, compare this year's footnotes to last year's. New language is a signal. This takes 5 minutes. And it's the 5 minutes that separates people who invest on hope from people who invest on evidence. Remember, this is educational content, not financial advice. Always do your own research. But this research? It's the kind almost nobody does. So here's the transformation. Once you read footnotes, you stop being the last person to know. You see the debt before the crash. You see the tricks before the collapse. You read the fine print the crowd ignores, and that's your edge. Because the truth in investing is rarely loud. It's written small, at the back of the report, in the section they hope you'll skip. So be honest, do you read footnotes, yes or no? Drop it in the comments. And tomorrow, I'll show you the one balance sheet number that quietly predicts bankruptcy years before it happens.